thumbs up for the go-getters, the ambitionless appears they should know.
Hey guys, you want to buy some supplements? Okay, bit of a crazy start, I'll give you that. But today we are talking about supplements, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm going to cover some of the main stuff in the supplement market. I'm not going to try and sell you anything, that's not really what I'm trying to do. I just want to sort of review them quite honestly, talk to you about what's in them, about what you should have, about what you definitely shouldn't have, and about the stuff that's sort of in between, okay? I'll put these down for now. So what I want to start with is some of the supplements that you actually might want to include in your diet or in your sort of training plan. I get a lot of questions about which supplements should I go for, which are going to be the best value for money. And for me, I think there's probably two main supplements, the two that I use, the two that I just held up actually, that are probably the top of your list. So I would say like protein, just basic protein is going to be, it's the king, it's the most common of all supplements for a reason. And that is simply because it does exactly what it says on the tin. It is protein, you know, don't get the stuff that's cut with anything else. Just actual protein, you know. It can be whey protein, it can be casein protein, it can be pea protein. There are a million different variations you can get. But all it does is it adds some extra macronutrients to your overall week. So you can absolutely do that. Basic protein, thumbs up. That's a good supplement. It goes on the good supplements list. What I'll also include is creatine. I'm a big fan of that. So I'll probably put up another video somewhere about how creatine works. I'm sure lots of guys have talked about this elsewhere. But in essence, all it's doing is it's topping up the phosphate stores within your individual muscles, if that makes sense. So basically, it's great for high intensity exercise, so anaerobic exercise, sprinting, Olympic lifting, maybe to a degree powerlifting, stuff that uses your, your anaerobic energy systems, your creatine phosphate system. That's where creatine supplements are going to be good. So if you happen to fall into one of those category of sports, yeah, I can recommend creatine supplementation. Probably going to be useful for you. A quick heads up that, like, guys, it's not a pre-workout. Creatine isn't a pre-workout. It's something that you have to sort of start, you have to build it up over a few weeks, and it's to work it into your system bit by bit, you know, 3 to 5 grams a day. It's not something that you just pound down like a pre-workout. That's not how it works. So they're my top two. They're the ones that I would say, if you're going to go for any supplements, they're probably the two that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. And they're not expensive either. Like, the 2 bags I've got, I'm not endorsing them, but I really like myprotein.com. They're really simple, they deliver like your stuff really quickly. This bag, like my protein bag costs like £11. My creatine bag, my little one down here, it's like £5. How much is in this? 500 grams? Yeah, 500 grams. It's a 500 gram bag and it cost me £5. Now, if you work out you're having 3 to 5 grams a day, you've got a huge amount of servings. That's 100 servings. You've got a month's, 3-4 months worth of produce there. I mean, my maths is terrible, but you've got a lot of product there for a very small amount of money. So 15 quid every 2 or 3 months should pretty much have your supplement stack covered. You don't need to be spending 30, 40, 50 quid on one of these really fancy sort of supplement variations. It's just not worth it. What else is good? What else is useful? So if you look at some of the research out there, fish oil supplements, anything that's going to include some extra omega-3s, it's good for hormone sort of regulation, it's good for your joints, I guess, that kind of stuff. So yeah, anything, you get some fish oils, that's always going to be good. What else? I've got a little list down there that I'm reading from. Nitrates, yeah, I'm going to grab this for a second actually. See, nitrates are one of those, so like, you know, like they're sort of found in beetroot naturally, so I hear a lot of people going on about it. They're good, but they're a little overrated. So most studies have shown that they can get sort of endurance athletes, not particularly like not resistance, not weight training athletes, but endurance athletes, a 0.9% improvement. Which, look, if you're an elite level athlete, maybe that's something you want to be looking into. But for the most of us, it's just negligible. So look, I've put them in my good section because they do work. They're not expensive. You can get them just by eating beetroot, which you can buy from the supermarket. So you can include them, but don't expect any like groundbreaking change to occur just by including them. What else have I got? Beta-alanine. Now this is actually quite an interesting one. Beta-alanine has actually had some quite good responses. So the studies I've looked at, and you're welcome. Look, I'm just giving you it's not just my thoughts, okay? So if you want to verify any of this stuff, I'm just condensing it down for you. It's all on, I guess I get most of my stuff from examine.com or from strengthandconditioningresearch.com, okay? I'll try and put links to both of them in the bottom in the content somewhere, Go and check them out yourself so you know that everything I'm saying is backed up by dozens of studies. It's not just crap I'm making up. I'm not just imagining this crap. So go check it out yourself if you don't believe me. But beta-alanine, most studies have shown, 2.85% improvement for high-intensity exercise lasting 1 to 4 minutes. So, unlike creatine is very short, sort of very quick intensity. We're talking about a longer high intensity. So this is almost like a lactic acid kind of system, 1 to 4 minutes. Immediately that makes me spring to mind 800 meter runners, 1500 meter runners, so you got the kind of idea. Maybe some rowers, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. That's where beta-alanine might really come into its own, at least that's what studies are saying. So it goes in the good pile, and that's where it's going to stay for now. Which brings us to the bad, to the not good stuff. This is the stuff that, look, I'm not calling it, we're not at the ugly yet, we're not at the really crappy end of stuff. What we're at now, we're just looking at, these are the products that, they're just going to rip you off. Like, they're not particularly dangerous to you, they're just a waste of your money. Like, there's just better stuff you can spend your cash on. And the number one, I get this question, if I had £1 for every time I got this question, testosterone boosters. Guys, you don't fucking need testosterone boosters, okay? The amount of messages I get specifically from guys that are 16 to 30 years old wanting testosterone boosters, wanting to know what I think of them, my answer is, you don't need them. You're 16 to 30. Your testosterone is at the most, like at the peak it's going to be of your entire life. If your testosterone levels are feeling bad, then that's something that needs to be addressed through diet. And, I can talk about that. But diet and regulation and sleep, that's what that's about. To be fair, even if guys under 50, your testosterone should be fairly high. It should be handled naturally. There are far more better ways than to go to test boosters. And if you just look at the supplement itself, you'll usually, it reads like the back of some ridiculous chemical compound mixture. Like, there's a lot of junk in these stuff, so I'm trying to think what it's usually mixed with. I mean, I guess there's some probably, what's in there? There's probably some DMAs in there. They usually chuck some aphrodisiacs in, stuff like, I guess maca could be called an aphrodisiac, yeah. But they'll chuck some aphrodisiacs into the mix. So typically what happens is that guys might feel a little hornier, might feel a little better, and just assume that because of that feeling that it's the testosterone, that the testosterone's working. In reality, it's not. Their testosterone isn't actually any higher. They just feel a little friskier, and they assume that the product's worked. But that's a false corollary. To be honest, you're just paying for massively overpriced for something that's probably not going to do that much. Like, it's just what it is, guys. I'm just being honest with you here. What else have I got? In my bad area, caffeine. Now, a lot of you might disagree with me because so many pre-workouts include caffeine. And I know there'll be a lot of you guys out there, a lot of you people in sports or in performance that say caffeine helps a lot, that caffeine really helps you, it gives you more energy and it does that. But here's my issue, okay? It varies massively per person. For some people it's one dose, for some people it's another. And studies have varied. Look, there's been a huge amount of studies. So what have I got? Yeah, in the last 10 years we've got studies by Mora Rodriguez, Bazzucci, Duncan, Tallis, Williams, and that's just a few. There are a lot of studies in the last decade, and the results are just hugely mixed. Some say that it does, some say that it doesn't help. It's just too mixed to be really true. And from my perspective, I look at health as an overall kind of thing. So the big issue for me with caffeine usage, especially in pre-workouts, is the massive dosage, which leads to, what's the phrase? Deregulation of your adrenal system. So if you're thinking caffeine, it stimulates that response, it stimulates your adrenals, it stimulates that fight or flight response. You might work out for a little bit, but you're going to be elevated, you're going to be buzzed for the next few hours. And once you stopped working, you've still got that feeling of being buzzed, but you're not dispelling that energy, so you're constantly deregulating your adrenal glands. And if you get to the point where you keep attacking your adrenals, but never coming down, what happens is they stop functioning normally, okay? They have to rely on the coffee, on the caffeine, on the stimulant to get that response, and it equals a very, very sort of strange bodily hormonal imbalance. I'll go into that in more detail elsewhere, but yeah, that's probably why caffeine falls into my bad list. What we're going to move on with? Results mixed. It moves me onto the fugly list, onto the stuff that is properly bad. This is the stuff that someone will walk up to in an alley, open up the coat pocket, want to buy some supplements. this is the kind of stuff you really want to avoid. So what have I got? Number one, like the biggest on my list, is fat burners. A lot of people will probably be a bit confused about that, but specifically I mean stuff like Thermobol, about any kind of fat burning supplement that raises your body temperature. Terrible stuff. Like, if you're if you're supplementing, if you're unnaturally raising your body temperature to a point that it shouldn't be, that is not good news, okay? Because if you end up in a situation that's too warm, if you end up somewhere that's too hot, and you're already up here and you're not able to disperse that heat, you're going to be in a serious bad way. Like, you could be in hospital. People have died from this kind of stuff. So yeah, avoid any kind of thermobolic response fat burners. They're just terrible. They're so dangerous. Don't take them. What else have I got? I guess mainly the bad stuff. Like, I got DMMA, amphetamines, adrenaline-based derivatives. I guess I could sum them all up as untested or unverified products. So if you're not particularly sure about a product, then look, you need to make sure you know what you're taking. So I'm sure most of you remember there was a scandal with bodybuilding.com a few years back where it turned out some of their products had got steroids in them. So a lot of natural bodybuilders were getting pissed off that it had actually been dosing on a small scale for months and months. What else have we got? Yeah, some products were found to have epinephrine in them. Now, for you guys that don't know what that is, epinephrine it's adrenaline. It's, again, I talked about the flight or fight response earlier. Exactly, it's the exact same thing that stimulates that. So you've got all the same problems associated with that, and it's just not good to be having in a supplement. It's really not. So that is one of the things that was found to be in them. It's not great. Another issue with that is that it's going to deplete your recovery. When your adrenals are thrashed, it's going to up your stress levels, your sleep's going to become poorer, you're not going to recover as well, and your insulin sensitivity is going to be fucked about with. So your entire sort of protein synthesis balance is going to be messed up. So stay away from that kind of junk. What else have I got? Old pre-workouts. So if you watch Bro Science Life, he's always talking about Jack 3D and all that kind of stuff, or Jacked, as I guess it's meant to be called. But yeah, terrible. Like, this stuff had like DMMA in, which is for all you guys don't know, it's an amphetamine derivative. So you've got essentially, you're taking fat with your pre-workout and you're wondering why you're so psyched up. There's some terrible stuff. Look, my golden rule for supplements, for anything, is if you don't understand what is in your product and you don't understand how it works, then don't bloody take it. Like, it's as simple as that. Only put into your body things that you understand. That would be a fairly common rule. You're not going to walk up to a surgeon and go, well, I don't really know what you're doing, but yeah, go on, chop away. And it's very similar. When you ingest something, you take it straight inside your body. You let it literally into your stomach. You let it affect your internal organs. If you don't know what you're doing, you are gambling with your health. So yeah, these are my supplements. They're the list of the good, the bad, the ugly. Hopefully that helps clear up some of the questions you have. If you do have any questions, any comments, leave them in the section below. If you like the video, then please like the video. And if you haven't subscribed already, then absolutely do. I'll be releasing new content every week. There's going to be some good stuff out there. You can send me requests. Yeah, it's going to be quite sciencey. I try to keep it fairly light, but my videos tend to be a little bit longer. So yeah, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week, guys.
Well, I'll